they give me a good advice. They go to the disco, they want to have a girl, they don't get a girl because they want it. And the next day they go to disco and they stand on the side and it comes 100 girls because they like him.
Elated to introduce to our American audience somebody that has been really on fire as of late. And it's not in the conventional sense as a guy that was known for his goal scoring, but I think I watched you some, Timo, and thank you so much for joining us. I watched you some over in the Bundesliga. I had really no idea how much defensive work you put in, what a great teammate you are in terms of starting counters and setting your teammates up. Not that I thought you were coming in as a one-dimensional goal scorer by any means, but I've really been blown away by all the other facets of your game. How hard do you train on every single skill and making sure you're a well-rounded footballer?
Yes, I think in the moment it's not the best season for me to score. I had better seasons with scoring, but at the end, I think you have to be a team player and you have to be a man or a guy when you're on the pitch to help your teammates to win the game. And I think the most important thing that we do the last few weeks, that we win and don't lose, that we reach quarterfinals, semifinals, and that we are back in the league on the top, under the top four. That's the most important thing. And I think you have to work hard for the team. And when you not score, much more, because goals for sure are the most things that can help a team. But at the end, when you don't score, when you have a story like mine, I had the last few weeks that I don't score, that I have unlucky situations. It is more important to work hard for the team, that you're always there to defend with the team, that you make assists for the team, that you on the pitch, that they know doesn't matter if he score or not. He's a big, really important mate of the team.
Well, let's talk about one of my favorite moments of the season so far. You mentioned that you had your goal-scoring drought in the Premier League, but against Newcastle, you finally broke through, and there was all sorts of drama. There was VAR. You were getting whacked in the face by Newcastle defenders that entire game. The moment of elation was quickly snapped out of it by another elbow that you took to the face. Yeah. What can you tell us about that moment specifically? And since then, you've kind of been on a roll, of whether it's drawing penalties, getting assists, or getting on the score sheet. You've been a different player in terms of goal contributions since then. It's one of those things that once you see it go in, the confidence within you swells up.
Yes, of course. I think it was one of the first games under the new manager. Of course, he can speak German as well, his assistant. And I know also his assistant because I worked with them before in Germany. So when I scored the goal, was funny because they celebrate outside and I was laughing and they said, yeah, finally. And then I run to attack the defender. I get the elbow 10 seconds after I score. But it was a funny moment. But I think under the new manager, and especially from this point, when I score, it gives me a lot of confidence. And after this, the luck was not on my side. For example, the Liverpool game where for me it was no offside and they put the goal away. But at the end, you have to say to yourself, maybe this season will not your season in type of scoring or score goals. Then you have to accept it. You have to keep pushing. And that was the moment that changed a lot for me, to say maybe not the important thing this year to score. The most important thing to win as much as we can games and as much as we can win titles at the end. And I think that gives me a lot of confidence, and also in the point that I've been more in contribution and goals than before.
Nobody thought that Liverpool goal was offside. I hope not even Liverpool fans think that goal is offside. That rule is ridiculous.
Like
ridiculous. I mean, it's absurd. But I wanted to ask about the manager change and how it's affected you. You mentioned how, the coaching staff is German and you've worked with some of them before. But I think a lot of people might have been slightly overselling just kind of a shared background, what that might mean. So when Thomas Tuchel came over, is there any kind of one or two things that you can share with the audience in terms of instructions or things that maybe you're doing slightly differently to help the team?
Yes, of course. I think he, like everybody can see, he brought he changed a lot of players in type of how we play like the manager before. But at the end, I think it's the new system we play now with 5 defenders, with 3 defenders. How you can see it's different. I think defensively with 5, offensively with 3 in the back. And it changed in part of that we don't concede goals. I think that's really important. In Germany we say a good offensive win your games, but a good defense win your titles. So that's really important for us, that we don't concede a goal. We always win the goals, the games like 1-0, 2-0. So always with a good defensive workout. But at the end also he gives us a good structure how we play in front. He gives us different systems. Sometimes we play with a 10 and 2 strikers. Sometimes we play with 1 striker and 2 10s behind. Sometimes with 3 strikers. So it's very different how we play, and I think it fits us very well. I think it gives us a little bit of some rotation in our squad, that everybody is happy, everybody can play on their best positions.
Timo, we were chatting with you before the interview, and you mentioned that there hasn't actually been a lot of time for training sessions. It's been match. And Chris Whittingham made the observation that some of these matches, because there are no fans, and I have to remind myself, Timo Werner has not played in front of a full Stamford Bridge yet, so we're just counting down the days, hopefully, till that happens. The matches in themselves are kind of like training sessions, especially when Tuchel got here, got a match the very next day after he stepped off the plane. How much different is it being able to hear your manager bark out instructions in an empty stadium for you?
At the beginning it was very strange because you hear everything on the pitch. Now I think you get used to it. I think now it's over a year we play we play in empty stadiums. I think you get used to it. I think now it's like you never know how it was with people inside the stadium, because 1 year is so a long time. I think I played now in empty stadium like 70 or 60 games. That's a lot. That's in Germany maybe 2 seasons. So long time. And you're right. I played 1 game in front of 2,000 people in Stamford Bridge, but not more. So that's the reason why you come to Premier League. You want to have this special feeling. You want to have this atmosphere in the stadium, because it's different to other leagues. And until now, I don't have this feeling. So hopefully, with all the stuff going good that we have with the start of next season, we have maybe not the full stadium, but a lot of people in the stadium.
Timo, I admire how what you say, given that it's not been your best goal scoring season, you still have to do that work for your team. But in terms of the goal scoring, what are kind of maybe what's the one thing that maybe you think you can do to kind of overturn this? Is it just to get a few in a row and not much more than that? Is it a confidence thing, mentality thing, a tactical thing? What for you is kind of the thing that I think a lot of fans and a lot of pundits, myself included, are thinking the duct is going to break for you. You're going to start scoring goals for fun at some point. But what do you think it'll take to get there?
When I can say the point, it would be much easier for me to come to this point and say until now it goes through and everybody is happy and I score 100 goals. No, but I hopefully, or everybody is saying this, because I don't think so that I missed the quality to score goals in maybe a half year, because when I come to Chelsea, the first 12 games I had 8 goals, so it was nearly the same like in Leipzig. So it was also in Chelsea that I score my goals, but then it comes a break, or in the mid of the season something changed. Maybe I get, because new country, new team, I get a little bit of crazy stuff in my head. I have to score every game, then I don't do it, and I come in something where not good for me. But I think now in the moment it goes back to where I've been in my head, also not only in the quality on the pitch, also in my head, that I'm confident, that I'm happy with myself, also not scoring, and maybe that's the reason to come back, to be patient, to be calm, to say, don't let the things come. Don't try to bring the things to you. Let the things come to you. Mm-hmm. So everybody said, or some assistant from us, they give me a good advice. They go to the disco. They want to have a girl. They don't get a girl because they want it. And the next day they go to disco, and they stand on the side, and it comes 100 girls because they like him. You feel the good feeling, and it's the same in football. They said, and maybe I make it like this. I give my best for the team. I wait, and maybe it start next season, not this season, but it will come. And until there, I will work hard for myself, and that's important.
Timo, I know I'm speaking for both of us here in this Zoom that are hosting this podcast and our audience right now. I mean, I'm sure the listening audience is falling in love with Timo Werner, the person right now. But your professionalism has been so admirable. It'd be so easy for you to tuck your head down. I'm not even sure you're playing the position that you were sold on playing here at Chelsea. And you've probably forgotten more about scoring goals than I know. I'm just a Sunday beer league guy. So, like, let me, in my Sunday beer league thing, try to say, Timo, I mean, I'm telling you, you cut inside, you're going to roast everybody in this Premier League. They're trying to force you outside with their big bruise and strength. What have you figured out about these Premier League defenders that's difficult for you to get adjusted to in the early going and coming over from the Bundesliga?
Yeah, that's the next point. I think it's easy to say to come from Bundesliga or somewhere else to come to the, for me, the hardest league in the world, and say, okay, now you are here, you have to score 20 goals easily or 15 goals. I think I can have now in the moment 12 or 13 goals with, I think I have the most bar or crossbar and bar shots. I have the most offside goals, but offside goals, not a meter, like 10 centimeters or 1 centimeter. I have the most unlucky shots in the league. So it doesn't matter. I can have 15 goals, but at the end, you are in the hardest league. You have the hardest defender in every team. Doesn't matter in which team. You have very good players, players who played, for example, in Germany, in very good teams they could play. So yeah, the Premier League is one of the hardest. It's the hardest league in the world, and that makes the thing not easier. And yes, like you said, very tall defenders, very fast game. Also, the defenders who are very big and strong are very fast. So it makes you not easy. You have to adapt the league, and it makes, but also makes fun to adapt it, because when you feel you are now in, you have the strength to hold against these monsters in the defensive. You also get a little bit of like a good feeling, happiness, and this gives you also more confidence for playing your own game.
Yeah, almost taking on that challenge. We hear all the time, and like, for example, I myself will say, well, he's adjusting to a new league in a new country, and I'll just say it, but I don't really know what it means because I've never experienced it myself. What is adjusting to a new country, particularly in COVID, where you don't actually get to experience it, and then a new league? So whether on or off the field, what's kind of been the biggest adjustment for you?
Yes, of course, you speak another language. Of course, for you guys, when you come from America to London or to England, it's much easier because it's the same language.
Sort of.
I think. Yeah. No, but
they have their differences.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. German is completely different to English, and we learn it in school, but it's always still hard to understand. For example, when we have the manager Lampard, before it was everything in English. Now it's more in German also, but it's easier for me. But the rest was always in English. And to understand everything from the beginning was not easy. I think that was not the hardest thing, but also one point. And another thing is like every time I think it's the same. Doesn't matter if I go from Leipzig to Munich or to Dortmund, or I go to Chelsea. I think you have a new city, you have new teammates, you have new structure in the club, new trainings camp. Everything is new, so you have to adapt it the first weeks. But after this, now I'm really happy here in London. Unlucky that everything is closed, that I can't have the experience London in the first year, because maybe that's the important year, because you come here, you want to settle down very fast. But at the end, we have found a good apartment in the city. Me and my girlfriend, we live here. Maybe the hardest thing is of COVID, you don't allow to have people in your house, so nobody can visit you from home. My parents or her parents or friends, they don't been here, so maybe this was the hardest thing, to be always alone. But at the end, it makes a lot of fun here, and I'm looking forward that everything is open again, and then I think the real London starts.
Yeah, hopefully it starts opening up. You guys got a favorable draw. It'd be great to see some people be able to celebrate a Champions League trophy potentially. One last thing, because I do want to highlight, you've been a phenomenal player. Just the other day, we were having the discussion that Timo Werner has now put himself in the player of the season conversation just because he's helping all around. But you're with a new team. And going through struggles with a new team, you're still getting to know your teammates. And obviously you had Kai over there, but he was also going through it. He had COVID. He was going through his struggles, and now he seems to be unlocking. What is the general morale in that locker room when players are going through it? Obviously, you're at the top of your profession and everybody wants to be out there playing. But it seems as though, especially with that Champions League celebration with Thiago Silva and Mount and Jorginho on the sidelines, jumping up and down in the stadium, it seems as though you guys got a real tight locker room right now.
Yes, of course. I think you saw it, like not because it's a friend who scored. It's everybody who scored. Everybody comes celebrate. Everybody's celebrating from their heart, and they are happy. And it's the same in the locker room. When we come after a game and we win, it's crazy. Everybody is celebrating. The staff behind the team is celebrating. We clapping. We are screaming. And also on the pitch, on the training, and also in the pitch in the game, everybody helps each other. It's a very good atmosphere in the team. Also in training, nobody is aggressive against each other, like fighting on places. So everybody is really nice to each other. We know it goes. Everybody wants to play, and they give the best. We have a good training, like a good high level in training, but not like somebody wants to hurt somebody. It's a good atmosphere, and that's important for a team. I think it's also like you said, me, or doesn't matter who goes through tough times in this season. For example, Tony, he doesn't play under the old manager. Now he play every game, and he was not mad under the old manager. He give his best. He was there. Other players, me, Kai, now we play good again. So I think that's normal in a season. Doesn't matter how many goals you have or how many goals you had or you will score. It's always that you have a bad time in the season. That's the important thing, that you have a team who stands always beside you and are with you, and that's our team. And I think that's the reason why we have good chances to this year to come in the cups very far, and also in the Premier League to reach the top four.
Timo, it's been a delight. I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed this. Please stay healthy. I know you got another fixture coming up, but a big season here at Chelsea, and you figure to be a massive part of it as to whether or not Chelsea gets some silverware. So thank you so much for taking the time out to join us on the official Chelsea podcast. We really appreciate it, Timo. Best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
See you, Timo.
Thank you, Timo. That was great.
Yeah, no problem. No problem, guys. Was a lot of fun.
Yeah, hopefully we can get you down here in Miami during one of those tours.
Would be awesome.
Yeah,
be awesome.
Yes, sir.
I come directly.
Yeah, the discos are here are open.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe
Florida's a bit different. All right.
Okay, guys. Have a good day.
See you, Timo. Thank you.
You too. Have a great weekend. Delightful. Bye.